If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
And now, Mike's thoughts. As we dive into the world of the NFL, even deeper as we dive into the NFC East edition of our breakdown, of our daily breakdowns of all NFL teams, we dive into the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I have had a narrative, I guess you can say, about Jalen Hurts over the last couple seasons. I thought he had a spectacular second season or third season once A.J. Brown came in. Boom, to the moon, baby, right? And then during our Pigskin Pundit pre-show, I was like, you know what? I may or may not dog Jalen Hurts all show long. I may or may not do that. I started looking at his stats, and guys, I am wrong about Jalen Hurts. I am 100% wrong about Jalen Hurts. He has improved each and every season stat-wise since his rookie year. He has quietly become a really, really solid quarterback. Now, obviously, he got paid, many want to say too early. I said too early. Many people said, hey, you are basing it off of one Super Bowl berth and one season, yada, yada, yada. The previous 2 seasons, he sucked. Yeah, I said that. And now looking at his stats from last year, the previous year, the year he got paid, like, maybe, just maybe, he isn't so bad. Maybe, just maybe, Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback. Maybe, just maybe, he can slide into the top 5. Guys, give me a valid reason of why Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Give me a valid reason why we cannot put him maybe itching into the top 5 with your Dak Prescotts, with your Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff and Josh Allens. Stat-wise, he is a really, really good quarterback. And I am eating crow with Jalen Hurts right now. I thought he was just a above-average guy at best. He puts up top 5, top 10 stats year after year after year. Let's give the man credit where credit is due. And I got to do that. Give the man some credit. But first, we got to cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team
Let's go. And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour Show of manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section. Check out the merchandise section. But most importantly, right now, guys, we are pushing those forms. We started them last March, kind of feeling it out, kind of seeing what the popularity might be of that forums. And right now we're good. We are live, raw, uncut over there on the forums. If you guys are tired of getting banned from Facebook like I am, are you tired of getting censored by the man like I am, head over to the forums. The only censorship that's over there is me. And I got some thick-ass skin. So if you can get underneath my skin, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. But guys, we are continuing our NFC East breakdown. We've done the Dallas Cowboys. We've done the New York Football Giants. And today, we're doing the Philadelphia Eagles. I know. We were going to talk about the Commanders. I had Michael plan to join me last night. Some stuff came up, a.k.a. The hurricane was supposed to destroy our area. We're supposed to get tons and tons of tornadoes. So I'm like, you know what, Michael? Let's move it to tomorrow. And of course, it was sunny and beautiful outside all night long. But whatever. Today's the Philadelphia Eagles breakdown. Guys, this is a live, raw, uncut, interactive show. So I see all the comments. So talk your shit in the comments below. But be willing to back yourself up because I am on one today. I am on one. I am on a roll. But speaking of joining the chat here, it says John is in the chat. He's a top fan. He says, finally getting to catch one of these lives. What's up, brother? What's up, John? Thank you for joining us today. I'm glad you are here on this live. Hopefully you have a good time, John. We like to see you here every Monday through Friday at 2:30 East Coast time. We have a damn good time. Speaking of a good time, a top fan plus a subscriber, the CFO of the Pigskin Pundits, Mr. Jim Powell, he says, what up? What's up? Let's flash it back to 1997 there real quick. What's up? All right, guys, we do got a great story for you lined up today. Of course, we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. We are going to talk about my projection of them of the 2024 NFL season, but we have to start talking about the past before we can start to talk about the present and the future with the Philadelphia Eagles. Last season, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles started off hot. They were a damn good team. They were on top of the NFL. People were talking Super Bowl for them. Super Bowl. Going into week 12, they were 10-1 with wins over the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Vikings, the Rams, right? All playoff caliber teams. They were wiping the floor with them, but then they go into Santa Clara, or actually they welcome the San Francisco 49ers into Philadelphia, and they got waxed. And that was the beginning of the end of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're sitting at 10-1 going into week 13. All they had to win two more games. Basically, it was a lock for the playoffs at that particular point. Second place, second seed, right? Of course, they were a playoff team, but they lost to the 49ers. They lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the Seahawks. Lost to the Cardinals. Lost to the Giants again. The wheels fell off from week 13 on. They only won one of their final 6 games, and it was a struggle. It was just like a car crash. Like you just kept looking, you could not look away, and the wheels fell off over and over and over again. No matter what they did, they could not get out of their own way, and it basically led to Jason Kelce's retirement. Like the Philadelphia Eagles, this offseason lost a huge part of their team, their centerpiece of their offensive line, Jason Kelce, to retirement. They also lost DeAndre Swift. He is now a Chicago Bear, right? And of course, they did add Saquon Barkley this offseason as well. And I think they drafted really, really well. They drafted 2 cornerbacks on round 1 and round 2. Cooper DeJean is the first round talent they got early in the second round. Hunt, the edge rusher from Houston Christian, is going to be a huge addition to their defense as is. I think the defense is going to step up a little bit this season. I think they're going to have a nice defensive team, but the offense is a huge question mark, right? Of course, you did add Saquon, but losing the centerpiece like Jason Kelce is going to be huge for them. And John says, right off the bat, Eagles look like crows without Jason Kelce. Eagles look like crow without Jason Kelce. And that is my first way or no way of the day. The first way or no way of the day is going to go toward the offseason, to the 2023, going into 2024. Jason Kelce obviously decided to retire from the NFL, step away. You know, he had a great NFL career. Let's just be flat out honest. He had a really, really good NFL career. Made a lot of money, won a lot of games. But we got to ask the question, is Jason Kelce replaceable? Is a person like Jason Kelce replaceable? And I got to thinking, and I'm just like, I mean, he is just a center, right? Granted, they did draft a center a couple years ago in Cam Jurgens from the University of Nebraska. He has been learning behind Jason Kelce the last couple seasons. We all knew, like we all know, linemen's careers in the NFL don't last 15, 16 years. It's about 10 years max, right? So we all knew this was coming, and obviously Jason Kelce probably knew it was coming. Cam Jurgens probably knew it was coming, and he was trying to soak up all the information that he can. But like John just said right here, the 1 yard tush push is out the window. And honestly, I think that was the biggest play in the Philadelphia Eagles playbook. When you watch the Philadelphia Eagles play last season, there were a lot of times when the defense would be demoralized, right? They would get them out, first, second, third down, hold them down to fourth down, 4th and 2, 4th and 3 even, right? Eagles like, nope, we're just going to do the tush push and get a first down. That was demoralizing to a defense. We've seen other NFL teams try to mimic this without, basically failing. Houston Texans, right, lost Tank Dell for the season with a broken leg. So is Jason Kelce replaceable? And right now, I have to say no. Granted, we still have preseason games to come. We can see what Cam Jurgens can do with the Philadelphia Eagles this season once the preseason starts. Week 2 of the preseason was like August 9th through the 15th. I think that is when we're going to really see how good or how bad the Philadelphia Eagles can be this season. I think they have a really high ceiling, but they also have a really low floor. What does that mean? Meaning they could win 13, 14, 15 games. They have the team. They have the defense to do that. At the same time, they have the team that can lose a lot of games. They have a team that can only win 2, 3, 4 games. There's a big, big gap there. And unfortunately, the replacement of Jason Kelce is going to be key. So guys, let me ask you this question. Can Jason Kelce be replaced? And if I have to go with my gut feeling, the answer to that question is no. Why do I say that? Because we've seen teams try to emulate what he does on the field. We've seen teams try to do what the Philadelphia Eagles do on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and no other team can emulate that. And it all started up front with Jason Kelce. Yes, Jalen Hurts can squat like 600 pounds and push that pile. I get it. But at the same time, it is up front. It is key. John says Mitchell was a big addition to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I can't answer that question yet. The reason why I can't answer that question yet, because I don't know if what's his name? Quinyon Mitchell, I think it is. I don't know if he is going to be able to fit into that linebacker, jackbacker, money backer scheme that the Eagles normally run, right? They have a guy that walks up. I don't know. We'll see how he fits, week 1, week 2. In OTAs, he seems to be playing, decent. Fundamentals are there, looking good. John says Barkley and Hurts, they win the division. We'll be talking about that here very, very, very soon. Very, very soon. And John says, just from the taste, I believe he fits well into the system, as in Quinion Mitchell. I mean, honestly, a cornerback, man-to-man up on the outside, a good cornerback is going to fit in any good system, right? But his ability to stop the run and maybe adjust to something else, because I still like James Bradbury, right? James Bradbury might start over Mitchell. Well, let's just be honest. I think you have to have Mitchell on the field, whether it's to replace Reed Blankenship, whether it be a nickel guy. Something's going to happen. Something is going to happen. Got Mark D in the chat as well. What's up, Mark? Hope you're having a good day. And John says, that's the cool thing about what you think. It doesn't count. The Eagles got better. The Eagles did get better, potentially. Adding Saquon was a good mix, a good addition for any team, right? I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks last night, and the Giants were definitely devaluing Saquon Barkley. They're like, who was going to pay him $20 million? He's not worth it. He's a year older than this, and this, whatever. Like, I get it. But think about this. Last season, when the Philadelphia Eagles were on their winning streak, when they were winning a lot of games, the previous week they lost to the New York Jets with just a fluke loss, a 20-14 loss at New York. The following week, they're back at home playing Miami. Absolutely dominating the Miami Dolphins on both sides of the ball. The Miami Dolphins don't know what hurt them at this particular point. I believe it's third quarter going into fourth quarter. The Eagles are up about 17 to 20 points. A.J. Brown really hadn't been getting the ball too much that particular game. I think he had like maybe 3 targets on 1 catch. Mind you, they're up by 20 points at this particular point, beating down a really, really good Miami Dolphins team. He's sitting there yelling, ranting and raving, I want the ball, I want the ball, I want the ball. He started to get the ball. He started to get the ball a lot, right? But then Jalen Hurts started to force A.J. Brown the ball. He wanted to keep A.J. Brown happy. Started to force him the ball. That was the beginning of the end of the Philadelphia Eagles when Jalen Hurts started to force A.J. Brown the ball. With that being said, A.J. Brown might be the downfall for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. Yes, we love us some Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley with the defense offensive line is going to get 100 yards every game. As long as he gets the ball 15, 16, 18 times a game, he's going to get you 80 to 100 yards. No question about it. He's a downhill runner and he falls forward a lot. But when you do that, you take away the ball from Devontae Smith. He wants the ball, right? He's not as vocal about it, but of course he wants the ball. A.J. Brown clearly wants the ball. Jalen Hurts obviously wants to throw the ball. Kenneth Gainwell wants to touch the ball. Dallas Goedert probably wants to catch the ball as well. Paris Campbell, fresh over for the Colts, right? Wants to touch the ball. There's only one ball to go around. A.J. Brown wants his 10 catches a game. Saquon Barkley wants his 20 catches a game. Devontae Smith wants his 15 targets. Paris Campbell, hopefully he can get 5 targets. Do you guys think the addition of Saquon Barkley might ultimately be the downfall of the Philadelphia Eagles? That is a question that we got to propose. Because obviously Saquon Barkley is like Derrick Henry. Gets better the more time he gets the ball. When he's able to wear down the defense and get his legs under him and start to run the ball well, he succeeds and he does well. Same thing with A.J. Brown. You get him involved early in the game, he is going to end up, demanding the ball all game long, and he's going to succeed. He is going to get his 120, 150 yards, right? Devontae Smith, he quietly always catches his balls and just does his work. So we got to ask the question, is he Are the Eagles in trouble this season by only having one ball? Christopher Woody is in the chat. He says, we'll be fine. He says, slow it down, baby. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. You will be fine once winning happens. Winning cures all, right? Unless you're A.J. Brown and you're not getting the ball still. But usually winning quiets the critics, quiets the Saquon, quiets Devontae Smith, quiets Jalen Hurts, quiets them. But what happens when you lose 2 games in a row? What happens if you lose 3 out of 4? Naysayers get louder. Stuff gets to get louder. People demanding the ball gets a little bit louder. James Chamberlain's in the chat. He says, I hope he doesn't, but Saquon will probably get hurt getting overfed behind that makeshift offensive line. Saquon Barkley has been injury prone in his time in New York. However, maybe sometimes different trainer, different food, different water, sometimes heals those nagging injuries. Let's take Christian McCaffrey into effect. When he was in Carolina, right, in Charlotte, North Carolina, he could never get healthy. He could never play more than like 5-6 games in a row. Sprained ankle, sore hammy, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He goes to San Francisco. Has he missed a game yet? I think maybe he missed 1 game. I mean, honestly, and I don't think that game mattered, right? They actually sat him out. They said if the game was needed, he would have played. So maybe that's what Saquon needed, is a new scenery, new trainer, some better taste in water. But we will see. We'll see, especially if it gets hurt early. Hopefully Saquon does not get hurt. We don't ever wish injury on anybody, but we do have to take it into consideration. He does have a history of getting hurt, right? John People says this also takes pressure off the passing game. It only takes the pressure off the passing game if Saquon is consistently fed the ball, right? If it is a one-off, one every 6 plays, does it really take pressure off? And one every 6 plays, Saquon doesn't get his feet under him, doesn't start running downhill. It's a double-edged sword. It's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? If you feed Saquon to take pressure off the passing game, then all of a sudden you got A.J. Brown mad, right? You feed the passing game to open up the running game. Some people do that. Saquon isn't quite as effective. Now, I could be 100% wrong. I could be barking up the wrong tree. But that's how I feel. I think somebody in the end is going to get pissed off, and it's going to end not well. Warren Evans is in the chat. What's up, Warren? He is a 1-year anniversary follower. I think that's what that means, right? Yep, anniversary follower for 1 year. Thank you for following us for a year, Evan. Or Warren, I definitely appreciate it. He says, nah, man, you got it wrong. A.J. Brown wasn't crying for the ball. Everyone was complaining about the offensive scheme. The downfall was the lack of the involvement under the terrible offensive coordinator. That's why Kellen Moore is there now. Now, I do agree that last year you guys had a lot of turnover, new OC, new defensive coordinator, right? Everything was rosy the first, 12 games of the season. Wheels started to fall off and nobody knew how to fix it. And I'm not for sure where Kellen Moore and good offensive coordinator kind of mix up. There's a reason why Kellen Moore is on his 3rd team in 3 years. Don't shoot the messenger. Facts are facts. Kellen Moore got fired from the Dallas Cowboys. Not even 30 minutes later, he was picked up from the Chargers. A year later, he's fired from the Chargers, and now he's with the Philadelphia Eagles. There is a reason why he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. Not because of the coaching changes, which, that has something to do with it. Jim Harbaugh wanted to bring in his guys. I get it. But the Chargers offense sucked last year. The Dallas Cowboys offense was meh, right? Granted, they did win 12 years his last year there, but he had Zeke at center, which was why, right? I wouldn't put too much faith in Kellen Moore. Warren, I'm not for sure if you are an Eagles fan or who you are a fan of, but if I am banking my season off of Kellen Moore, I'm not going to. If you guys remember, what was it, 2019, 2018 maybe? Kellen Moore was the talk of the town. Kellen Moore was the next greatest offensive or the next greatest head coach out there, right? He got passed over. There's a reason for that. Third team in 3 years. Same thing with Eric Bieniemy. There's a reason why he keeps getting passed over on offensive or on head coaching opportunities. Maybe they're just not that good. Maybe Kellen Moore was carried by Dak Prescott. Maybe Kellen Moore just doesn't have the X's and O's. I mean, he's obviously a smart individual. He had a great college career at Boise State, right? Maybe he just isn't that good. Christopher Woody says, Philadelphia Eagles don't stay with run no matter how good we run it the last 4 seasons, proven it. Is that a Nick Sirianni thing or is that an offensive scheme thing? Because to be honest, when you look at the depth chart, we have Kenneth Gainwell and Saquon Barkley. You have a great 1-2 punch at running back. You have a great 1-2-1 punch at running back, and I would stick with the run a lot. John says Hurt will be more mobile due to the old line avoiding sacks. Do you guys really think that Jason Kelce is going to really make it from a top 5 offensive line to a 20th ranked offensive line? I mean, granted, I know he's a big part, and I know he was a leader in kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like the ringleader of the gruntness, right? But watching OTAs, watching minicamp film, the offensive line still kind of has that tenacity about him, kind of the F with us and find out. I don't know. Learn how to catch a dump pass. I'm not for sure what you're talking about, John, but okay. Warren says Moore was a scapegoat in Dallas, and you know that. Kellen Moore was kind of a scapegoat per se, right? Because people were not willing to admit that Dan Quinn was actually the issue in Dallas. Yes, Dan Quinn had a great defense. Yes, Dan Quinn did turn that defense around. Can't win big games. We can talk more about this on Friday. I will write this down. We will talk about that. Christopher says, not that they didn't know how, just couldn't at the time of the end of the season, how to fix it. No, so basically what Christopher is saying is when the Philadelphia Eagles went on their 6-game losing streak or losing 5 out of their last 6, they knew how to fix it. They just couldn't. Well, if you know how to fix it, then you would be able to fix it. Just because you think you know how to fix something and that isn't fixing it, and you keep reverting back to what you think will do it, it still doesn't fix it, that's not fixing the issue. You still have the issue. The issue is that they could not get out of their way. The offense sucked. The defense sucked. The team was kind of at each other's throats, and Nick Sirianni was not taking the fall. Nick Sirianni was not stepping up and being a head coach. Nick Sirianni didn't know how to handle adversity, and that's my next topic. Is Nick Sirianni in a must-win now situation? Yes, he did go to the Super Bowl. Yes, they did win, 11 games last season. But from week 13 on, the worst team in the NFL, let's just be flat out honest, the worst team in the NFL, as you said, Christopher, they knew how to fix it. I'm using air quotes there for the people that are listening to us on the radio at Big X Sports Radio. They knew how to fix it, but how they knew how to fix it wasn't fixing the issue. Let me ask this question, guys. Is Nick Sirianni in a must-win now situation? Meaning, do they have to make a playoffs and win the playoffs this season? Do they have to win the division? Do they have to win a wild card or divisional round game, one playoff game? Are they in a must-win now situation in Philadelphia for Nick Sirianni to keep his job? The hardest part about this is that the Philadelphia Eagles, win any team in the NFL, or any team in general, high school, college, hell, pee-wee football, if you as a coach and your organization is successful, there's going to be less successful organizations looking to poach your coaches, looking to poach your players, right? Obviously, last season, 2 seasons ago now, right? The Philadelphia Eagles lost their offensive coordinator, which went to the Colts, right? And their defensive coordinator went to the Arizona Cardinals. Very good, seems to be head coaching candidates, right? I think the Colts head coach is, I can't think of his name right now, is a really, really good fit. He definitely has the Colts heading in the right direction. Nick Sirianni brought in a couple coordinators that didn't quite fit his mold. They're out of town. This year, he brings in Kellen Moore. Brings in another defensive coordinator. I don't know his name. But at what point are the coordinators no longer the fall guys? At what point does head coach Nick Sirianni have to take the fall? Captain has to fall on his sword, down with the chip. Whatever you want to say. And I think this year is the year. I think this year is the year that Nick Sirianni has to put up or shut up. I'm not saying they have to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they have to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying they have to go to the playoffs. They have to win a playoff game. They cannot have an end of the season like they did last season. Guys, Nick Sirianni is a must-win now situation. He's on the hot seat. When I released my hot seat 6 coaches, two weeks ago, Nick Sirianni was number 3 on the list. He is on the hot seat. James says, and good luck with Vangino at DC. He had more talent on the defensive side of the ball in Miami last year, and he did his best to destroy it. Miami Dolphins also had like 7 defensive ends, edge rushers in 3 games. So Vangino has an opportunity to do better, I guess. I don't know. Emery is in the chat. What's up? He says, go Birds. I see, I spy a, looks like Jalen Hurts jersey there. So welcome to the live. Hope you have a great time. Be sure to subscribe and like the show with a couple friends as well. John Pebbles says, Buck is on half into nylons. What? What are you even talking about? I mean, who doesn't like a good pantyhose over their face? John said, yes, he is in a must-win with all the talent on paper. If he flops this year, he is out. So, John, once again, thank you for being a top fan here at Man Hour, at facebook.com/Man Hour. What is considered a flop? Is missing the playoffs considered a flop? Is a losing season considered a flop? Or is losing 5 out of your 6 games considered a flop? Like, I think we got to add a little caveats into things here, just because, like, let's say if the Eagles do finish 8-9 this season and miss the playoffs and is 3rd in the division. Let's just put that out there. Let's just say he finishes 8-9, 3rd in the division, but they are competitive in every game. It is a 1-score game. It's a 2-score game, but they are competitive in every game. Is that considered a flop? Or are we strictly looking at the records? Like, hey, sorry, man, losing season, lost 5 out of your last 6 in 2023. It's time, right? It's time. James says, Eagle is one of those teams that the head coach is always on the hot seat. This is correct. Didn't Andy Reid lead them to like 4 straight NFC championship games, and like the following season, did he miss the playoffs? And he's like he is out. Like, I think he was on the market for like 20 minutes. The Chiefs called him, said, "Hey, we got Jack in the Box," and he was on a flight to Kansas City, and the rest is history. Maybe the Eagles just need to slow it down, baby. Maybe the Eagles just need to be like, you know what? let's give the man a shot. John says if they miss the playoffs, he's gone for sure. They lose in the playoffs, he's probably still out. Make it to the playoffs and lose, you're gone, man, says John. He's gone. James says Andy Reid took them to 4 straight NFC championship games and got fired. Facts. Facts. And I think they went to what one Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb, and Terrell Owens had a broken leg all playoffs and finally came back, and they did really well. They did really well. But this season, guys, I think Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat. I think the offense is going to be a little bit in trouble because there's only one ball to go around, and the loss of Jason Kelce is going to come back and haunt them. But will they have a winning season? Let's talk about it. Week number 1. They open up against the Green Bay Packers. Not a home game as it is listed, but they are playing in Brazil. This game, this game's weird to me, right? Because I guess in Brazil, you cannot wear green, and both teams are green going into Brazil. Nonetheless, neutral site game, Packers versus Eagles. Packers coming off a phenomenal last season, kind of came out of nowhere. Eagles obviously coming off a very struggling end of the season, weird off season, and I think it kind of carries over into the first game of the season. I think the Packers win this game. I think the Packers are just a better team all the way around. Jordan Love is playing for a huge contract. He's playing for that, $65 million deal right now. He wants to get paid, and he's going to ball all season long. And I do think the Packers come out on top. And I have to agree with James right here off the bat. He says, boo international games. I hate them. I hate the international games as well. I think they're absolutely stupid. But when I said that, I said, you're being selfish. You're not worried about the fans in Mexico and Brazil and the UK. It's American sport. Deal with it. But I do think the Eagles start the season off 0-1. Week 2, they are at home. First home game of the season. They welcome in Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. And I do think they win this game. I think they find a solid 1-2 punch with A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, right? It's a nice balanced attack. 30 pass plays, 30 run plays, 50-50. And I think they're just a steady dose of stop us if you can. Oh, you can't? Oh, let me do this. Let me hand the ball off. Let me do this. I think the Eagles are going to do whatever they want in this game. And this is going to really excite a lot of their fans. But unfortunately, that excitement does not hold for very long. They do beat the Falcons, and they beat them good, 28-14, 28-17. But week 3, they're back on the road. They've flown to South America, into Brazil, flown back to Philly to play a Monday night game. Now they're back flying to New Orleans to play in Caesar Sports Dome, or whatever the hell it is called. They've been doing a lot of traveling this first 3-4 weeks of the season, and it finally catches up to them. Flying to Brazil, flying back to Philly, flying to New Orleans. They are kind of tired in this game. Yes, I know it's only week 3. I know it's early, but I think they lose to the Saints this particular game. I think they lose to the Saints, and it is just a bad loss. Nothing really looks right. Nothing really clicks, and they start the season off 1-2. Start off the season 1-2. Week 4. Back on the road. This time, traveling to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked about how tired they were the previous game. This kind of carries over into week 4. Week 4, they're looking a little sluggish. They're looking tired. We're like, man, they just can't do nothing right. I think the defense kind of gets walked over on this particular game as well. None of the front 7 looks good, and I think they just get ran all over. And going into the bye week, it's a big relief. It's a big relief at this particular point. I think James is right. Baker Mayfield going to sweep the NFC East. Would not surprise me one bit. Would not surprise me one bit. But week 5, a very welcomed bye week at this particular point. They've been traveling a lot. They've really been traveling a lot. Traveling to Brazil, back to Philly, to New Orleans, to Tampa. They need this bye week. I do not like week 4, 5, 6 bye weeks. I absolutely hate them. If I was playing a 17-game season, I had a week 5 bye week, I'm like, really? Might as well not even get us a bye week at all. But week 5 for the Eagles at this particular time is very, very warranted. Warren says Buck is really showing his Dallas bias right now. We'll see. We'll see how much I am biased about the Dallas Cowboys. But week 5, very welcomed bye week. Give us a week 6 matchup. Back at home, finally, nice and rejuvenated, and they welcome a very, very good Cleveland Browns team into town. A Cleveland Browns team with Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, and Myles Garrett. The Browns are going to be a really, really good team, guys. Do not get it twisted. However, the Philadelphia Eagles come out on top of this game. The Philadelphia Eagles are a well-rested team. They've heard all the noise. Oh, you got to start off 1-3. You guys might as well fire your head coach now. You can't fix this wrong like anymore. They block out all the noise. Jason Kelce comes give him a rah-rah speech right before the game, and they go out, and I think they dominate the Browns. I think they are better than the Browns from top to bottom, and they dominate them. And it carries over to week 7 when they travel to New Jersey to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Football Giants. We said it yesterday. I think Saquon Barkley is going to run all over the Giants. The Giants could put 15 guys in the box, and Saquon's still going to get a $150. Saquon is not going to be stopped versus the New York Giants, especially after that Hard Knocks episode. Thanks, Mark, for letting me know that it was out. Saquon's pissed. Eagles are back on track right now, guys. They've won 2 since the bye week. They're back to 500. They're 3-3 on the season. James says, yep, rested and fired off coming off that bye week. They're going to kill the Browns. Yeah. Then we got a week 8 game. This game has so many question marks in my head. On paper, I think the Bengals are a decent team. They have a above average defense. Their offense, obviously, with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? Now adding Zach Moss into the mix, could potentially be a really, really good team. Eagles right now are clicking in this game. But we saw it last season around midpoint here, week 6, 7, 8. History says the Eagles always seem to shit the bed one of these games. One of these games, they always seem to shit the bed, and I do think they shit the bed versus the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow has a pretty decent game. I think Zach Moss has a pretty decent game. Jamar Chase probably has another 5 touchdown performance like he did against the Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, a couple years ago. Hell, I think the guy just caught another freaking touchdown pass on us. Couldn't be stopped. I think the Bengals step up in this game, and they kind of knock the Eagles back down a little bit and say, hey, just because you guys dominated the Browns, dominated the Giants, slow it down, baby. We're still the kings of the AFC. Go back to your NFC and worry about them. But they can't, because the Eagles play another AFC team week 9. Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence coming to town. Jacksonville Jaguars, when we look at the Jacksonville Jaguars guys, and I've been breaking them down, watching film, I think they're a bad team. I don't like the contract that Trevor Lawrence signed, although Wayne G loves it. Of course, Wayne G is the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan I've ever met in my whole entire life. I think the Jaguars are a bad team. And I think the Eagles expose the Jaguars in this game. The Eagles win this game, now winning 3 of their last 4, with wins over the Browns, the Giants, and now the Jaguars. Now, this is the part of the season where things can go one way or the other. when we talked earlier, when they have a really high ceiling but a really low floor, right now they're 4-4. Right now they're 4-4 and going into a very gauntlet part of their season, right? And it starts with week 10. Week 10, they travel to Dallas to take on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. History shows, I don't think in the last, Warren and all those guys out there, correct me if I'm wrong, but there hasn't been a repeat NFC East champion in like 10 years or something like that, right? Every year they seem to be going back and forth between the Commanders, Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys. They just keep rotating it through. I do think the Dallas Cowboys win this game. We talked about it on Monday. I think it's a close game. I think it's a really, really challenging game on both ends. Right? Both teams are probably struggling at this point and really need this win to really right the ship. And I think the Eagles battle 20-17, but they ultimately fall short to Zeke Elliott, Dak Prescott, and the boys in Dallas. Giving us a week 11 matchup versus the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback, comes into town. Jaden, the more I watch the Commanders, like mini camp and OTAs and practices and whatnot, I'm actually a little bit excited about the Commander season. I am a little bit excited, like, hey, maybe they can, be one of those dark horses like the Giants did back in 2021 and kind of sneak into the playoffs there, right? And potentially could win a playoff game. I'm not saying they will. Slow it down, baby. But I'm saying they look like a team that could shock a lot of people. They're not going to shock the Eagles. They're not going to shock the Eagles. The Eagles are kind of... It is nut crunch time. It is nut crunch time, and it's time to either put up or shut up. Are we going to get that high ceiling, or are we going to be that low floor? Let's get it back up to 500. Let's figure ourselves out, and let's make a playoff push. If you guys remember, right now the Dallas Cowboys are kind of struggling as well. Obviously, the Giants are kind of way out of it, and we're breaking down the Commanders tomorrow. So we'll see how the playoffs are looking at this particular point. Week 12, travel to LA to take on a Rams team. A Rams team that is a true wild card. A Rams team that, talk about high ceiling and low floors, Rams have that. We'll see how big of loss it is for Aaron Donald for them coming up when we break them down in 3 weeks. We'll be talking about them, but I do think the Rams are too much at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles have a lot of flight time. Traveling to Brazil, traveling to Tampa, New Orleans, now LA, Cincinnati. A lot of flight time. I think they lose this game. I think this is a part of a 2-game skid, a 2-game road here where people are thinking flashback from 2023 right now. We are thinking, oh shit, what is going on? Because they're going to lose to King Henry and the Baltimore Ravens week 13 as well. Losing 2 games in a row. Losing 3 of their last 4 at this particular point. But they're still in the playoff hunt. They are still in pace to potentially win the NFC East. All they got to do is win the next 5 games. All they got to do is win for their last 5, maybe. They just need to put on a little bit of streak. Put a little bit of streak together, right? And the schedule gets a little bit easier. Week 14, playing the Carolina Panthers. Arguably one of the worst rosters in the NFL are the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, kind of been running for his life. Second year in the NFL, second head coach. Really don't have a number 1 receiver. You can say Adam Thielen's it, but he's like 36 years old. Is he it? The Eagles waxed the floor with the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are just no good, and the Eagles are finally saying, hey, let's buckle down. Let's face it. There's a big bee in here. Oh my God, the thing's huge. Sorry. I'm allergic to bees. The Eagles win this game. Mike's in the chat. What's up, Mike? He says, you guys are all in this era for energy for nothing. Three-peat loading. We'll see about that three-peat. Week 15, Pittsburgh Steelers come into town. The PA rival. What's that interstate between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh? I don't know. We'll call it 69. I don't know what highway it is. But it doesn't matter because the Steelers are going to ride that bumpy-ass road back to Pittsburgh with a loss. Eagles are looking good. Eagles have won two in a row. Won 3 of their last 5. Lost to a good Rams team and a good Ravens team. Things are looking up. Things are looking positive. Looking forward to that Dallas Cowboys game coming up. Week 17. Looking forward to win the division. People are talking about it. It's getting tight. But guess what? They have week 16 at Washington. And they overlooked this game. They needed to win 5 games in a row to have a shot at the playoffs, or at least 4 of their last 5. And they dropped this game versus the Commanders. They're overlooking the Commanders in this particular point. Granted, we talked about the Commanders that could be a surprise, right? And they're going to shock the world by beating the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. The Eagles have been playing good football to this point. Beating down the Panthers, beating down the Steelers, overlooking the Commanders to the Cowboys game. They ultimately lose this game. Week 17, though. They're in must-win situations right now. Right now, I have them sitting at 7 wins. Sitting at 7-8 on the season. We talked about this earlier. Nick Sirianni has to have a winning season, has to make the playoffs to keep the job, right? We talked about Juan Ball. A.J. Brown's mad. We're losing season, whatever, right? All that noise gets blocked out when the Dallas Cowboys come into town. This arguably is the biggest rivalry in the NFL. It's even bigger when the Cowboys come to Philly. It's still a good game when Philly come to Dallas, but it's even big when the Cowboys come to Philly. The fans are hyped in this particular game. The coaches are hyped. The players are hyped. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this Week 17 matchup. They block out last week. It was just a fluke. It is what it is. We still need to win two more games to have a shot at the playoffs. They're probably going to need 9 to 10 wins to get to the playoffs, and this moves them to 8-8 on the season with a Week 18 matchup. A Week 18 matchup versus a very, very bad New York Giants team. This is a Giants team that has 2 wins on the season. They've already fired their head coach. Daniel Jones has been benched. Drew Lock has been benched. Insert Tommy DeVito, right? They don't know if they're coming or going. They just want the season to be over, and this game is a complete blowout. The Eagles only play for maybe 3 quarters. Jalen Hurts gets benched, right? Saquon gets benched. A.J. Brown gets benched, not benched, but pulled out, right? They don't want any chance for injury. This game is this ugly. And I think ultimately it leads the Eagles to a 9-8 record. 9-8 record with wins over the Falcons, Browns, sweeping the Giants, Jaguars, the Commanders and the Cowboys, Panthers and Steelers. I think the Eagles have a 9-win season ahead of them. A very good opportunity to make the playoffs. With the playoffs now having 7 seeds, this 9 wins might be just good enough to get them into the playoffs. So we got to ask the question, guys, is a 9-8 record for the Philadelphia Eagles good enough to make it into the playoffs? I can't answer that question for you now because I'm not going to spoil my rest of my NFC picks, but I can tell you they have a very good opportunity to make the playoffs this season at 9-8. And if they sneak in there at 9-8, winning 4 of their last 5, they're going to be a team that you don't want to play in the playoffs. They are going to be a team that if they get a home playoff game or a playoff game in general, you do not want to play them. Winning 4 of your last 5, getting hot at the right time is key in the NFL. All those years that the Giants have beaten the Patriots in the Super Bowl, They're a 8-7, or they're a 8-8 team, 9-7 team, sneaking into the playoffs. Have to get hot at the right time, and they catapult to the moon, baby. So, do you guys agree or disagree? Are the Eagles a 9-win team? What's going on here? Push the wrong button. Are they a 9-win team? Is it too high? Is it too low? Getting ready to post it as facebook.com/manhour. As soon as it's live and I want to post it, let me know. Do you agree or disagree? Until then, we are out until tomorrow, 2:30 East Coast time, breaking down the Washington Commanders with my man Michael Burlew. See you tomorrow. We out.